Hi guys! So this is the third video I think in this sort of mini series, if you like. This is, if you go back to the first one of these three, you'll see that there was some card and paper that I was using that I got from Wilko's, some of the watercolour and the canvas card. So this is a piece of the watercolour cardstock that I used, and again on here I've done a resist with some embossing powder and a Versamark ink pad, and then heat set the little bugs, and that way when I've played around with the actual water and distressings, it's resisted, so they're not coloured in, basically. That's an easy way of saying that. And this card is going to be a little bit of an experiment when I stamp, so no idea what we're going to get here. In theory, if you were using a watercolour ink pad, which we're not, the image would go behind the embossed images. In theory, because this is an archival waterproof ink and it's a permanent ink, it should sit on top. So we'll see what happens there. Basically this measures, this is 5 inches by 3.5. My layer, this black layer, is going to be 5.25 by 3 3/4, and then the actual card base is going to measure 5.5 by 4. And if you open this up, it would be, the card base would be 8 by 5.5, folded in half. So I'm going to do this piece first, and then we'll just stick the card together. That's simple. Again, I have a stamp set that is, this just says friend, so any stamp set. I think this again came with a magazine. Can you tell I hold stamps from magazines, or at least I did. And this stamp, you can't see it so well, I don't know how well you'll see it, it's really beautiful, but I think this is also from the stamp set I used in the last video, where it's from a indigo blue stamp set, but I don't know the name of it because again it was with a magazine, don't tell anyone. But from many years ago, but it's so beautiful, I absolutely love it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in what we call, I used my mat here, my heat resist mat before, but I'm actually going to bring in a piece of paper just because it'll absorb the ink better than that will. Hold on 1 second. And this is literally, oh, if I can get it. This is just to absorb any ink that might go off the edge of the page, so it's just a piece of copy paper, that's all it is. So I've got my image, I've got my bugs the right way up, it's useful. And I'm going to just, with the archival, I'm going to just ink her up very well. And this technique works really well with solid images or more solid images, kind of like silhouettes, when you've got a bright background, and then you put the black or a dark brown, I guess that would work too, over the top. It just, I don't know, I think I love the look of it. It looks fabulous. Fabulous. Let's see, where do I want her? Do I want her there? Or there? I'm going to kind of go in the middle ish. Now you have to put some pressure on. You don't want too much pressure, just in case you did, although I don't seem to have done that today, which is good. Sometimes I get ink on the block as well, so you don't want to press too hard in case that ink lands up on your main, you know, the piece that you're stamping. But at the same time, I know that I've got a resisting going on with some embossing powder, and depending how raised your embossing powder is, depends on how well your stamp's going to stamp, basically. So I just, hopefully that's covered enough. Somewhat. Can you see the pattern on that? Again, it's down to the cardstock. So I've used watercolour cardstock, and that's what you're going to get. So it depends. If you like the really ultra smooth kind of look about things, then you probably don't want to do this. But what I want to show you, I like all the distress kind of stuff, so I kind of like that there's sort of different layers upon layers, and I love that look. So it depends on my mood, but for this I think it's worked pretty well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this to dry, but basically you can kind of see the image still trying to pop through here, almost like it has pushed it to the back of the images, which is what I was saying. So and that ink is actually sitting on top of the embossed image, but we'll see what happens when it dries. I might leave that for a second. Oh, I'm not finished. What am I doing? Sentiment. Hello. 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 Anyway, I'm just going to stamp friend in this little gap. Ta-da! And I'll clean my stamps in a minute. Especially with archival, permanent inks, StazOn, any of these sort of types of inks where they are permanent, you want to clean them as quickly as possible, just because otherwise they will stain your stamps, there's no doubt, but you know, if you clean them as quickly as possible, they're easier to get the ink off. So because I want to leave this for just a second, I'm just going to stick this layer onto the base. It's all about the base, people. I'm sorry. I know. Anyway, make sure you have your card the right way up. I have done them upside down before. Yep, I have. Right, so there's your base and your base layer, if you like. And I'm just going to carefully... Oh, that didn't work so well. Oh, okay, that's not working at all. Ah! Okie dokie. Different kind of tape coming up. In fact, what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to raise this one up, I think she says. Just because my tape runner didn't want to work on the back. So there's another thing. I didn't realise that, obviously. That it was going to do that. But the watercolour paper, or cardstock, whatever you want to call it, from Wilko's, don't like tape runners. Just saying. So I'm just using some foam tape. It's just El Cheapo from Poundland, I think. El Cheapo. Sorry. Oh. And because I am gonna, because I'm raising this up as a whole, the whole panel. Sorry, oh, what am I trying to say? I put a lot of tape on here. Basically, I've covered the back as much as possible, just because using water on the background to start with means that the paper is going to be a little warped. Sometimes they are a lot warped, but because of that, it means that it won't necessarily sit flat. And also by having extra tape on here, I can't get that off. Get off! Get off! By having extra tape on there, oh, it will sturdy it. If that made sense. Do you see some of it has come off? I don't know if you can see that. Do you see that? Oh, right. So I'm going to just pop this baby up, and it will still make a lovely card. Do you know what I mean? This is raised a bit. Tip: if you turn it upside down, if you've got something that's wet on the front, turn it upside down to make sure everything sticks. And there you have it. Get that out of the way so it's easier to see. Mess out the way. And there you have it. One kind of resist technique, but I thought they made a cute card for a friend. Haha. Anyway, have a great day, guys. See you soon. Bye.